a $2,000 tariff dividend check going to people be inflationary?
Well, there are a lot of things that are going to happen next year.
Is that one of them?
And that could be one of them. And again, maybe we could persuade Americans to save that.
Could he just make one facial expression that looks human? Just one, briefly, act like a human, but he can't do it. So I think that was a good question from Bret Baier. Would cutting checks to the American people be inflationary? Now, look, you might say, well, yes, but it's necessary, and it might be. Stimulus checks are used despite the fact that they can be inflationary. I mean, we just went through rounds of that during COVID. They were necessary. A lot of people made the case, and they were in fact inflationary. And also, like, what would be if you think that people are economically suffering now, like regular people who can't afford electricity because data centers are jacking it up, and they can't afford regular consumer products because of the tariffs and everything, and then they finally get this $2,000 check and they just deposit in their bank account. How is that helping them at that point? But Scott Bessent, he doesn't live like a normal person. He has no idea what a regular peasant does with $2,000. It means nothing to him whatsoever. And he also doesn't seem to think that it's gonna happen anyway. I'm a little bit, I don't know, I'm of two minds. So on the one hand, it would be wildly expensive. It would cost hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. Graphic 10 says between 279 billion and maybe 607 billion, which is more than the tariffs have raised from taxing the American people. So it seems unlikely. And also you'd almost certainly need legislation. But I also know that Donald Trump thinks in very simple ways. He said in an appearance just a couple days ago that he would try to have them come out maybe in the summer next year, maybe after the summer, which means right before the midterms. And again, is that actually an answer to the economic suffering that people are experiencing right now? That you have this plan, but you want it to come out a year from now, right? As it could potentially influence someone's vote. And so he's gonna find that very appealing, especially if he can put his name on it. But it's wildly expensive. It would be inflationary, which would theoretically compound the problem. And so, I don't know, Brett, what do you think? Do you see it coming?
Arsonist claims credit for putting out fire set by arsonist. That's what this is. Like he made a huge mistake. He took money out of your pocket. Here you go. And he did it for a reason. I need this money from your pocket so I can pay down the deficit and end inflation. I need your money, so it's gonna cost you more so that you don't have to pay as much. That is his proposition. Everyone, people who loved him, people who were like, yes, you can shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and I don't care, because that took place on Fifth Avenue. This thing, Main Street. This happens in your kitchen table. This is money from you that you can't buy cornflakes with, right? Because everyone loves those. And now he's like, I'm gonna take some of that, put it back in your pocket. And essentially he's saying the thing he's doing, 5 minutes ago, he said that was the enemy. The entire Republican Party said the reason prices went up were because of $2,000 checks.
Yeah.
Now, during COVID, there was more offsetting of that because people didn't go out and do stuff. So they were actually not spending as much in that way. And that's half of the reason why housing prices went way up, is because people were just not spending as much money and savings went up. Now people need that to stay alive because things are moving and their kids are going out and there's just more economic activity to be done.
Yeah.
But the thing that really gets me about that interaction is how Bret Baier is able to look like a person, because I've seen that guy in real life, and in real life he looks like a garbage pail kid. He looks like a series of basketballs painted like a human. That's what he looks like in real life. And Scott Bessent, why are you wearing the police jacket?
Yeah, that was a little bit strange. How is that his purview?
He's like an NPC, when you're playing Red Dead Redemption, and you're like, I feel like they just changed this guy's outfit and gave him a different character.
I have no idea why he's wearing a police jacket. That's a great point.
Insane.
I don't know. Anyway, by the way, I'm gonna close just by saying, so we're gonna discuss now for the next year maybe they'll do these $2,000 checks or whatever. We're gonna talk about it, consider all this stuff. I just want to remember, they handed $4.5 trillion over to the wealthiest people and corporations of the country. They just did it. There's no like massive back and forth. They were always going to do it and they did it. And for the top 0.1%, I just checked, they're gonna make on average over $300,000 off of that. Not $2,000 checks, $300,000. People making less than $30,000 a year, their taxes are going to go up marginally as a result of that tax cut bill. So when it's handing money to the wealthy, when it's 20, $40 billion for Argentina, that just goes out the door. But if it's money for you, we are going to debate it to the ends of time.